What is going on, people? I'm back with another unboxing of another crate. So this one, Mom, she was kind enough to write August on it, which makes me think that this might be the August crate, right? That's what makes sense, but we're gonna find out once we get into it. So I don't know if you've been kind of following along or whatever. If you saw the last crate that I did, and I get that there are a couple people that watch all my videos because they're super supporters like that. And I do appreciate it. One of these days I'm gonna have to like reward you guys in some kind of way. But anyways, if you were watching the last one, I did this whole introduction about how I'm doing a lot of these, which is why you're gonna see me standing here in the same shirt that you saw on the last one. That well, if I upload these in order, what I just said doesn't make any sense. Well, anyways, moving on. We're just gonna skip over that. Just know I'm doing a lot of videos tonight. All right, so there is the spoiler side of the crate card, so you can see what all is in there. If you're curious, that should be long enough to take that all in. I feel like people aren't really looking at that anyway, but whatever. So, and there's a Labor Day ad here, so this is definitely a while ago because Labor Day is September, right? So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think it is. I don't know. I am bad with those. Oh wow, this is pretty nice. Actually, you know what? I remember this being talked about now. I remember when this crate was coming around because they were like, "Man, there's gonna be a super cool Lucha Brothers shirt in there," and it is. Like, look at that thing. I mean, I'm gonna hold this up close, but I still need to see the camera and make sure you're getting it all. See that? Like, this is a this is a nice one. This, and I actually just bought a Lucha Brothers shirt, two of them actually. I got the one that you saw in another unboxing, and then a different one that's really just Penta's face, but still. Fun fact, a picture of Pentagon is also my Dropbox profile picture because it was the most recent picture on my phone or something when I was making my Dropbox account. So he's there holding up the Mexican flag. It's not even Mexican, but I'll support it. All right, and then here we go. The New Era Heart Foundation. I read that slowly, not for effect, but because I was trying to not screw it up. Anyway, so there you go. There's that. I'm not sure who all's in the New Heart Foundation, but if they have even a fraction of the, I don't know, technical skill and amazingness that the original Heart Foundation had, they're going to be doing all right for themselves. And I guess the real original Heart Foundation was Neidhart and Bret Hart, but I think more like the Pillman and the Owen and Bulldog, Bret Hart, Neidhart, right? That whole collective of people. That's what I think of when I think of the Hart Foundation, right? Because I came into this world a little late. All right, so moving on. Got another pin in here. Villain Enterprises, right? Representing Ring of Honor. So you got Marty Scurll, PCO, and some other guys. PCO is like, I don't know what to make of him. I've never really seen much of him. He always just looked like a weird version of The Undertaker. I didn't hate it, but I didn't get it. But apparently he's doing all right for himself. He might still be world champ for them, so that's cool for him. All right. And Jeff Cobb. Speaking of people that remind you of people, he reminds me of Taz. Let's see if I can get a good angle at this so the light isn't all... well, you're just going to have to take that as it is, I guess. But yeah, Jeff Cobb. Should start showing the back of these things. So they're pretty well detailed, honestly. I've caught a couple of his matches. I do think he's pretty good. And I need to start watching more Ring of Honor. Apparently, I have YouTube TV, right? And so the other day, it was like, hey, you probably want to watch this show. And I was like, what is it? Oh, Ring of Honor. Yeah, I do want to watch that. Add to favorites, right? So now it just records it all, and I can watch it whenever I get to it, which hasn't actually happened yet. But I've got the option, and that's what life is all about, having options. So moving on, though. Best of Rise Wrestling. That's a weird looking thing. It's just such a strange lineup in a way. That chick in the middle, got an autographed poster of her in one of the last videos I did of these things. And I'm not sure who all these other people are. That might be Penelope Ford in the jacket. I don't know. I have no idea. And what is this? Available now on DVD at High Spots. Championship Wrestling from Florida. I don't know. They're trying to sell me on something here, or just trying to tell me that High Spots has things for sale. I bought some of my first wrestling tapes from High Spots, actually. It was a Japanese hardcore whatever, and also I think it was a best of Sabu, because I just got into Sabu. And I remember one of the first matches was Sabu and Cactus Jack. And they're in like a gym, like a high school gym, with the pull out bleachers and all that whole thing, like the big wood floor, and. And I remember, I think it was Sabu had what looked like a beer bottle, and likely was a beer bottle. He has this beer bottle in his hand, and he's like holding it, and he's like goes to hit like Cactus Jack over the head with it, who I actually met last night. Goes to hit him over the head with it, and it didn't break, but it made like the most sickening thud sound. I was like, that sounds painful. After a couple of tries, it did break, but man, that had to be a rough night for him. And there's that Labor Day thing I was talking about. And now the title of this was what? Best of the Indies Part 6. All right, cool. And this charity went to El Paso Shooting Victims Fund, because maybe you remember there was this shooting down in El Paso a while ago at a Walmart, which was, when those things happen, it's like, it's always kind of like, oh man, that sucks, right? But it sucks a little more when it happens in a place that like you lived. Now I didn't live in El Paso, I was like an hour away or whatever, but I used to be down there all the time, especially at this particular Walmart where that was. So when you hear about a shooting like that, you're thinking like, man, like if I had moved like a few months later, I could have potentially been in there when that happened, right? Luckily, I wasn't there when that happened, and even if I was, there's not to say what would have happened, but still, it's something you think about. And Wrestling Dreams by Colt Cabana, the professional wrestler, and Erica Wise, the professional illustrator. That name sounds familiar. I feel like I just saw it somewhere. So there's that nice little book. And on the back, who's in your corner? Can you see that? Where does it say that? Yeah, there it is. It's just with the glare from this little ring light thing. Yeah, so maybe, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but I guess I'll just put it with the rest of my books, which is not many. They're mostly comic books, honestly, or graphic novels, I believe they call them. So, moving on from there. Okay, cool. Right here, you've got Sabre Jr. of Chaos, I believe it is, in New Japan. So this guy, one of the best technical wrestlers you're going to see today, right? I mean, maybe there are other people that are better, but I hear Jimmy Havoc is like right on par, but he doesn't use those skills because he found another way to get his name out there. But, they trained from the same place or something to that effect, so that's why they have a very similar knowledge, very similar skill set. It's just they both went in completely different directions. But yeah, so I do like, well, I was going to put it down anyway. I do like Sabre Jr. He's pretty alright. He's also in the Cruiserweight Classic if you watched that. If you haven't watched that, it's on the Wrestling Network. And if you don't have that, it's probably on YouTube. Alright, and that concludes the August box. So I'm going to sit that down over here and wrap this thing up. So all of you that are watching this, which is probably just like one or two people, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I got 4 more of these things to knock out. So let's do this before this phone dies on me.